I think that privacy is an ethic of knowing someone else's information. If I tell Aaron something, it is now public to that extent, and what happens to that information is his responsibility. And so I think that you as companies must be aware of that, but even third graders have to be aware of that, right? We all knew in third grade before the internet that if we told a friend a secret on the playground, it would end up around the lunch table an hour later. So we have to worry about not so much technology, but people. So if privacy is an ethic of knowing someone else's information, it brings with it a bunch of responsibilities. Among those is not to steal someone's information, to be transparent about how you get it and what you do with it. I'm upset a bit about the Wall Street Journal demonizing ad tracking because my journalism students will depend upon advertising revenue to eat and give us journalism. But I do think that the advertising, media, and technology industries have done a terrible job of letting people know what they gather, why they gather it, what they do with it, what benefit comes from it, and to give people control over that. So you need to be transparent about what you're gathering. You need to protect that information. If you're a bank or a game company even, obviously if too much information gets out, it can hurt your customers. You need to give credit for this information. You need to give context for this information. I think this all matters greatly. I think it's important to give someone access to their own information in a sense of ownership of it, in a sense of making it portable, in a sense of the ability to change it. The best example of this to me is Amazon. Amazon is tracking everything you buy, and we say thank you because it gives us great recommendations in return. And I'm sure we've all had the experience of correcting Amazon, right? The new Taylor Swift album is out for those of you who have teenage girls. And so if I buy it on my Amazon account, you should see what gets recommended to me a week later, right? But of course, Amazon makes it very, very easy to go back in and say, no, 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 please don't use that. In which case, I only make my relationship with Amazon more valuable to Amazon. I told them that I'm not a teenage girl. I let them save that promotional opportunity for me to sell something that's more relevant to me. So having my information, using my information is great, but also give me some control over it. So if privacy is an ethic of knowing someone else's information, I would argue that publicness is an ethic of sharing information. And there is benefit in sharing. 1 billion people are on Facebook not because they're all drunk or insane, but because they see a benefit in sharing with each other in amazing ways. Sharing information among ourselves is one of the greatest powers that we now have, and that's what I want to protect, is that ability to share. So I want to argue for a moment for the benefits of sharing, the benefits of being public. List a few of those benefits. First and foremost is that it enables relationships to be created and improved. If you sit in your room all day, if you hide your company behind secrecy all the time, then you are missing relationships you can't even count, that you don't even know. Being transparent obviously leads to trust. If you're not transparent, if you're not open, people wonder what you hide. If you are open, then it is a mark of trust in someone else that you are that open and that you are willing to let them know something. That matters as a company, as an individual. Transparency enables the wisdom of the crowd, the amazing impact, let's say, of Wikipedia. The fact that we can be transparent and open and public with each other, perhaps public is a better word in this case, the more we can work together, which leads to what I think is the greatest power of transparency, of publicness, is collaboration. When Google releases a product as a beta, it is an amazing statement of humanity and humility, even from big Google. For it is Google saying, we don't know what this thing is yet. It's imperfect. Help us finish it. Collaborate with us on it. And I think that's an important thing for any company to do. At an individual level, I think publicness is very much a matter of personal choice. You should not be forced to be public, but I think I want to try to sell the benefits of it to you. Government. Government's the other end of the scale. Government is now transparent only by force. It is secret by default. And it must become the opposite. Government must become transparent. I'm sorry, did I mess that up? Government is secret by default and transparent by force. It should be the opposite. It should be transparent by default and secret by necessity. You can indeed have a community of customers. You can collaborate with them, even on design and economic decisions, but only if you give them the opportunity, the respect, and the tools. Go back to Google and betas. Now, mind you, I don't want to drive the beta car or fly in the beta jet, but there are opportunities to listen to people in new ways. And so we have to talk, I think, and have a discussion about the principles of a public society and of this tool of publicness, our net. I'll propose to you a few principles to protect the net. The first is that we have a right to connect. If you cut off my connection to the internet, Mr. Mubarak, you are violating my human rights. Can we not at least agree to that? And that's a preamble to, in America, our First Amendment, our right to speak. And that leads to our right to assemble and act. Whenever possible, a company should try to be transparent. Whenever it's not a matter of security or crime, governments must be transparent. I think that what is public is a public good, and we have to keep what is in the public domain public for all of us. Finally, two more. That every bit is created equal, and if a bit is stopped on its path from here to there, from one edge to the other, by a government or a company or rerouted, then no bit can be presumed to be free. And finally, the internet is open and distributed, and that is the architecture that makes it what it is. No one can claim sovereignty over the net, or it's not the net anymore.